go. And we are live here on Hailing Frequencies with Star Trek Livingstone Series 3 Episode 12, entitled Tug of War. And I'm making a massive prediction that this will be part one of many, because it always is. I am your GM for this evening, and in the captain's chair, we have Zankir, Bav, Gronnahk, or Chris, as we know him. How you doing, Chris?
Good evening, good afternoon, welcome, good morning. I am good. You are fortunate in that I am dragging myself away from playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now to be here. It has claimed me, life and soul.
Of course, that's launched now, hasn't it? Is it good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As an understatement, yes, it's good.
Right. Okay. That's a hearty recommendation.
Yes, I highly recommend it. It's a very good game. It's one of those things that when you put it down, you just kind of spend the remaining time thinking about other things you want to do and go back to. It's a good one.
Right. Do you have to understand sort of Dungeons and Dragons lore quite heavily for it, or
it helps to have a passing knowledge of D&D mechanics, like how the game actually works, because they do a very good job of transporting the 5th edition rule set into a game. But you don't really need to know anything about the lore or the world or the story or anything going in. It does a good job of holding your hand through that initial stages.
Right. Okay. I'll take that one under advisement. And of course, we have Commander Eelin Wraal with us as well. Ed, we've gone for a Spots Wednesday.
Oh, yes,
Wednesday.
I do have the blue paint. I do have the blue paint somewhere, but it just takes a bit longer to do, and we're running a bit late on story time tonight.
What story was it tonight? Can you share?
Tonight it was Finding Winnie, which is the true story of the Canadian officer in World War One who paid some money for a small bear that was found at a railway station, a live one, to use as his battalion mascot, took to England for training, then donated to London Zoo when they were sent to the Western Front, and it was named Winnipeg because they were from Winnipeg, a battalion from there. And of course, eventually that bear became famously known as Winnie the Pooh.
Indeed. Oh, fantastic. So the story behind the story. Obviously, before this bear went off to become the chairman of China.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic.
Don't let him hear you say that.
Yeah. Well, he made Winnie the Pooh illegal, didn't he, in China?
Yeah.
Which is just, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Anyway, we also have, no longer in the captain's chair, but in the kitchens, we have
in the chef's chair,
Chef Jairrod. I have to apologise, Alastair. I misspelt Jairrod's name on the graphics last week.
It's okay, that title sequence will be a collector's item at some point, Stu.
Absolutely. And of course, I'm seeing you in the flesh this weekend, am I not?
Yeah, very excited for Destination Trek this weekend. Not got anything sort of like photo shoot wise booked for it yet, but certainly plans to do one or two. So need to get that sorted out, but otherwise already in set for it.
Yeah, and it'll be the first time we've ever met in person as well.
Yeah, which will be great. I can't believe we've not met before at this point, given that it's been a few years or so now. So yeah,
it has. I mean,
do I have to pay? Do I have to pay extra Patreon tier for Aliens Explored to get this meeting?
If any of our listeners are wondering what Alastair is talking about there, that is the Aliens Explored podcast, which you can go and visit, which I am one of the co-hosts for. And if you wish to support us, we've got a Patreon channel. Anyway, that's this was a non-paid advertisement. Thanks for that, Alastair. Yeah, cracking.
Always glad to work that in. Yeah.
But yes, I can't decide who I'm more excited to meet. Yourself, your lovely wife, or Jess Bosh? It's probably Jess.
That's tough competition, yeah. Can't blame you,
If I'm
Stu.
honest, I do have a photo, but I mean, as soon as I saw... I'm not a big one for like the photos or the autographs and things, but as soon as I saw Jess Bosh was going, I am madly in love with her.
Now, the question
I won't
is...
be telling her that.
Well, at least it's not affected by the SAG-AFTRA rules for around the convention. It would be something she could talk about, Stu, you know?
Well, if she did, like a certain Star Trek actor, I would go right off her. Anyway, so we've got no Matt tonight, no Amy. They're off doing life things as usual. And to give our viewers as well an early notification, we will be reconvening not in a fortnight's time, but in 3 weeks' time after today. So yeah, episode 13, lucky for some, will be in 3 weeks' time. That's the plan currently. Things can change. Speaking of change, it all changed last episode, didn't it?
Little shake-up.
Just a little one, yes. We got new
How
captain
to
in the
bin off
chair.
responsibility to your as quickly as possible.
Got new toys on the ship.
Mm.
Got
Yeah, looking forward to actually being able to break out the Section 31 toys. So we've never used the yacht. We only barely use the cloaking device. So it's going to be fun to actually be able to use them without worrying about silly things like regulations and Starfleet laws and everything.
The only problem is we don't have that fallback of being able to say, don't you know who we are? We're Federation Starship, etc., etc. Which, in fairness, every time we've met that particular Romulan commander, who shall remain nameless, he doesn't care. It's like, do you know who we are? Yes, I do. Oh, yeah, you're 5 times bigger than we are.
Yeah. Now, of course, you are all sort of famous throughout the Federation now.
Posthumously, yeah.
Posthumously famous, yes.
The only Defiant class to blow up when activating its own warp drive. I mean, surely at this point, they've taken all the other Defiant class and refit thereof and have basically dry docked them straight away. As in, stop, don't use anything.
Make sure you install the latest patch. Yeah.
Yes, you are now legends in your own lunchtime. And speaking of lunch, you've got a new passenger on board. What's the captain and first officer making so far of Chef Jairrod?
I think, given the fact that he comes at the recommendation of Director Bashir, Zankir is willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but there is certainly a strangeness going on here that Zankir can't quite figure out.
What about Eelin?
I mean, interesting how Section 31 are worried about protecting the Federation by all means, especially foul ones, but also want proper cooked meals. I mean, no replicator stuff. I mean, O'Brien will tell you it tastes better, but that's what his mum made. But then again, considering what O'Brien suffered for 7 years and more, getting him a decent dinner is the least the writers could have done.
Oh, dear me. Well, yes, indeed, you have been treated to some very, very fine meals since you've arrived at this repair station. And we in fact, we ended on last time on a little bit of a cliffhanger. where you had just each taken a drink of the wine, and it was delicious. So we'll skip forward a few days now, and
we skip forward a few days because it was drugged and we wake up together.
It was just that delicious. We had so much we had to sleep it off over the next couple of days.
Kind of. But yes, we'll bring ourselves back into the game if you're all ready, as we usually do, with a log.
I've been warming up my Jairrod voice all afternoon. I'd forgotten that this would entail longer speeches from time to time before I gave him this voice. Chef Jairrod, personal log, stardate 57419.0. New friends are a lot like tribbles. Meet one, and soon you'll have a whole ship full. All my new friends are dead. According to official records, anyway. They've broken away from Starfleet and been familiarizing themselves with Section 31's protocols and resources at the Ware Repair Station near the Unroth system for a few days. We all watched a very moving memorial service over subspace. Admiral Janeway, Admiral Picard, and Admiral Hubbard all gave speeches that didn't leave a dry eye in the mess hall. Captains Liera and Wagner said that it was the finest crew they'd ever had serve under them. Or did Wagner say final crew? It was something like that. Anyway. Meanwhile, I've been cooking food, and the crew have been enjoying eating it. My speciality, Klingon lung, raised some eyebrows when it appeared on the menu, but I'm not Director Bashir's favorite chef for nothing. By the end of the meal, the mess hall was full of smiles and satisfied stomachs. The crew of the Livingstone have made me feel right at home, and it seems like this will be the perfect place to lay low after the incident. Captain Zankir is as agreeable as a cold tankard of Gronnahk on a warm summer's day. Security officer first is, frankly, very standoffish. Sparky has been excellent company, full of interesting pilot and adventure anecdotes to share over the dinner table. I'm assured there's a very capable Vulcan science officer on board, but I've yet to make their acquaintance, possibly due to them being busy working with Dr. Bosh on something in sickbay. The good doctor has still found time to try and administer multiple hearing tests to me, though, although I do not understand why. I'm given to understand that Dr. Bashir has a mission for us. I wonder if he will use the door to enter the room to tell us about it, or if these holographic visitations are the new norm.
Thank you very, very much there, Chef Jairrod. And indeed, Captain Zankir, you're getting an incoming transmission. You're expecting it. It is going to be your new mission. Who have you got with you? Are you just on your own, or do you have crew with you?
I think if I've been expecting it, I'll probably just be in the ready room waiting for it by myself.
Okay, and the image of Director Bashir comes up on screen in front of you. Captain, how have you been getting on at Ware Station?
Oh, good to see you, Director. It's been pleasant, strangely. I'll admit I was somewhat confused when you first introduced Jairrod, but I cannot fault his skills.
He's a talented chef, and he may have some other useful skills as you go along, but it's essential for the time being that he keeps his head down. I'm sure you understand. Anyway, if you're if you and the crew are ready with your rest and relaxation, we have a mission for you.
Absolutely. I think the crew are all raring to go.
As you know, you've been searching the Shackleton Expanse for the fabled technology of the Tilly Carl. We have rumours of some advanced technology in system Sigma 367 in the Shackleton Expanse. If you can pop along there and check it out, I don't need to tell you to keep your own heads down as well. We don't need the Livingstone being spotted. But space is big. Very big. I mean, you might think it's a long way down to the shops for a packet of mince, but yes. So yes. Do you need anything?
Of course. And now that not that I can think of, and now that our ship is back to full functionality, staying out of sight shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yes, indeed. Well, enjoy the toys, and if you wish to return to Ware Repair Station when you finish the mission, it is an automated repair facility, as you've probably already discovered. So yes, that should suffice for any scrapes that you encounter along the way. Although, please try not to.
Of course. Oh, we will try our best. Director, this mission, are we seeking to recover Tilical technology or just learn what we can?
If you find yourselves able to remove and extract technology for further study, and you can do so safely, I'll leave that at your discretion.
Very well.
Safe is a relative term after all.
Of course. Of course. Nothing is certain, only danger, right?
Quite right. But yes, your first priority is the safety of your crew. Second priority is the safety of the Federation.
Understood.
Excellent. Bashir out. So you've got your mission.
Yep.
What would you like to
so
do?
Zankir will stride out of the ready room onto the bridge, relieve Commander Wraal of the chair.
Oh, thank you.
I've just been informed by the director that we have a new assignment. We are to travel to the system Sigma 367 in search of more Tilical technology. Recover if possible, but learn what we can in the meantime. Commander, would you mind plotting a course? I trust everyone is ready to leave.
All hands reported returned from the station, Captain, and at stations ready to depart.
Very well. I'll work on a pithy catchphrase in the meantime, but for now, take us out, Commander.
Let's do one. Wraal clears moorings. It must be automated, so I presume we can just undock and wend our way.
Yes, you can literally push a button and the ship disconnects from the station. Obviously, we are starting a brand new adventure path, so you have 0 momentum. Sadly, with only 3 players, I'm only starting with 6 threat, which is very disappointing. I'm sure I'll improve on
What a
that.
shame.
I know. I forgot to get my counters ready as well. It's terrible. I'm awfully unprepared. But let's see if we can build up some momentum for yourselves by plotting a course. So,
that's a job for me.
That would be a job for the con. So let's have a reason and con, assisted by the ship's computers and con. I'm going to say it's difficulty 0 because it is. Computers and con is a total of 15. Captain, who's going to roll for the ship?
Yeah. do it. What am I rolling for the ship?
You want to beat 15 or meet. Hello, Captain Quinn. By the way,
15.
no, nobody is singing. We had that discussion off air.
Under pain of airlocking.
Yes.
I rolled a 17. That's a good. And a 4. My con skill is 4, and I have a focus in helm operations and astronavigation.
Oh, that will definitely do that.
Yeah, and I got a success for the ship.
All right, let's start you off with 3 momentum then. Very nice.
That's
Very
half of the maximum
nice.
we can possibly have. Hooray!
Indeed. And yes, you... how fast are you getting there? Are you maximum warping it? Are you...
Oh, actually, yes, Captain's discretion. I would suggest normal cruising speed. Isn't that round about the 5 to 6 point?
It would be.
Yeah,
definitely.
I see no reason to rush. We weren't given a specific time frame on this mission. So.
Time limits.
This may
can
be
we
affected.
cloak while warped?
Yes, you can. However, the higher the warp you are, the more chance you have of being detected.
Okay.
So that may have an impact on how fast you go.
Yeah, I think now that I'm thinking about it, it might be beneficial for us to cloak while we warp in, just in case there's anyone there. We were ordered to remain unseen, so I would hate to warp in and immediately blow that particular parameter of the mission.
All right, well, I'll activate cloak from the con position as we go into warp.
No problem. You can do that. And yes, so you're cruising at what, warp 6?
Nice round figure, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, it's going to take you a little while to get there. Not going in at maximum warp. Warp, just in case anybody is interested in the technicalities behind it, is an exponentially increasing speed rather than a linear increasing speed. So, for example, warp 8 is not twice the speed of warp 4. It is, God, 10 to the power of whatever times warp 4.
It goes like that, doesn't it?
It's a well, do it. Yeah, line up rather than yeah, I know what I mean. Hi, Ben. Yeah, so so it's not going to be a quick journey. It's going to take you the best part of a day at warp 6. Anything you'd like to do en route?
Can we bring up anything in the computer about is it Sigma 367 for notes?
Sigma 367.
Yes.
About the system, if there's anything in Federation databases about it and its rough position.
Certainly, I mean its location, no problem. You've got that quite specifically. The information itself is pretty sparse. It's a yellow sun, rather like Earth. There are only 4 planets in the system. But the 3rd and 4th planets are probably, give or take, mostly the same sort of distance as Earth is from its sun. It's so obscure, though, and so kind of unimportant that it hasn't even got a name. That's why it's Sigma 367. But there have been, Section 31 have detected, no mention of how they've detected this, but they have detected some unusual power emanations coming from the system. But the Shackleton Expanse is mostly unexplored anyway.
Planets 3 and 4 are Goldilocks zone planets then.
These strange energy readings, are they similar to what we've encountered before in systems with Tilical technology in them.
The information's too vague to
I seem
make
to
that kind
remember
of
we've
assessment.
encountered something like that before. Okay.
You have. I'll tell you who could make a study of the readings, however, with Tilical experience, is your chief engineer.
Yes, she does have some experience.
If you'd like to get her to look at the readings, what's this gonna be? This is going to be insight and science. I'll say difficulty 3 to determine if it is similar energies.
Aided by the ship?
Afraid not.
Oof. Okay. Let's see. I'm not going to use a momentum on this. Let's just see if I can hit one of these focuses.
You can always give me threat, of course.
So I got 1 success and a natural 20.
Oh, no, the information is just too vague. There are too many things that it could be. And rather than that actually causing a problem, like Tana accidentally deletes the file, I'm just going to take a threat.
Okay, so password has to reset.
Yeah. So I'll take a threat for that 20 rather than give you major problems at the moment. I'll save
Appreciate
major
it.
problems for later.
No, naturally. Is there any way that could Eelin have a look into any report, any sort of tactical or strategic reports we've got? Is there any of the other powers of the quadrant claiming the system or nearby systems?
No, the Shackleton expanse itself is an unclaimed region of space, primarily due to the subspace issues. Certainly the Klingons and Federation have been very active in there, but then so have Orions. Romulan activity is sporadic, but it has been known, but as of yet the entire region is completely unclaimed. Strategically, it's of no significance, this area. It's kind of off the beaten track, really.
Apart from the potential for some interesting technology for those who know about it or don't.
But certainly it's far enough away from any
so
sort of shipping routes or anything like that it would be unusual for anyone to detect any technology from it.
Okay, I'll pass my findings on that to the captain and recommend that tactical advice would be that we could presumably come across pretty much anything out here. I wouldn't want to predict one faction over another.
Well, we seem to have encountered the Romulans quite a lot in this area of space, so being on the lookout for them is all. Yes. Commander, would you mind taking the chair for a while? I would like to have a word with our new crew member.
Oh yes, certainly. I'll call in my relief con officer and take the helm, and I'll get comfy in my old chair.
And I will call our chef to the ready room if he is available.
Okay, just before we do go into that, I'm going to break out of the game just for a moment. I've noticed people in chat saying they're having technical difficulties. If you can let us know what difficulties you're having. I think the stream itself might be sort of buffering a little bit. I'm not quite sure why that would be. but we do seem to be losing frames. No storm or anything like that, but a bit blurry. Okay.
It could be a Twitch problem because I'm seeing the same thing when I try and watch the stream. It keeps.
I'm not watching via Twitch. I'm just in here, but my Zoom chat seems to be fairly smooth.
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like it might be a Twitch thing. It should sort itself out.
Right, for anyone having difficulties watching on Twitch, try going over to the YouTube channel.
Go to YouTube,
yes. and yeah, see if that helps. Yeah. Okay. So yes, bringing ourselves back into the game. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, Jairrod, you've been summoned.
Hello, Captain. How are you today?
I'm well, still getting used to this room. It's always a little stuffy in here, no matter what I do with the climate controls. Anyway, please take a seat.
I brought you a glass of millipede juice.
Thought you were going to end the sentence right there. Just a glass. Oh, wonderful millipede juice. Yes. I'm sure it tastes better than it sounds.
Not replicated, the real deal.
Wonderful. Only fresh millipedes used in this particular juice, I see.
Absolutely. You'd be surprised how hard it is to keep them aboard a starship.
And how many millipedes does one have to use to get a juice of this magnitude?
Quite a few.
Yes, I imagine not much liquid in those legs of theirs.
Honestly, I just appreciate you taking an interest in my work.
Well, you do such interesting work, Jairrod. It's hard not to take an interest.
That's what Dr. Bashir always says. Or is he a director now? I lose track of these things.
I believe he's both. I don't think he gave up his PhD when he became director.
Such a talented man.
Yes. Anyway, oh yes, I did have a point. Look, I don't want to beat around the bush, but I would like to know if there's anything in your particular skill set that could aid us on our missions. I know you are a fantastic cook and you have connections throughout a lot of the galaxy, so is there anything else that we might be able to use that you can do?
Well, I've always found there's no problem that can't be solved by a good meal. That being said, sometimes you need more than a good meal. And I've traveled a bit. I know different parts of the galaxy, and I'm happy to offer any information that I can when we're somewhere new. Often when I try my hand at things, I can experience beginner's luck. So I'll chip in wherever I can, Captain. You can count on me.
Wonderful. I'm sure you'll pull through when we need you to.
And I think my focus in spring onion dishes is really going to come in handy.
I think it will. What little we've encountered of the Tilakal tells me they are very fond of their small root vegetables.
Excellent. Who are the Tilakal?
Okay. I'm going to need you to do some research before.
There's got to be a read and sign he hasn't done yet.
Yeah.
I'll get the training department to check his records.
Well, I'm in the middle of very close to a Rippleberry Gatto disaster down in the mess hall, but if you'd like to forward the files, I'll be sure to take a look.
Certainly, I'll have Tana send over anything she's got. She's something of an expert in these matters.
Excellent. I look forward to reading that.
Very well. Anyway, I would hate to keep you from what sounds like a very pressing matter down in the mess hall.
You barely touched your millipede juice, Captain. Chin chin.
No, that was deliberate.
Yes,
Wait.
save it for later. Good plan, Captain.
Yes, I've
Anyway,
heard millipede juice gets better the more you leave it out. You've got to let it sit for a while.
ages like a fine wine. Maybe just put it in the drawer on your desk and come back to it in a couple of weeks.
You know what? I actually have an aerator. I'll just put it through the aerator.
I'll have to try that myself. You're full of surprises, Captain. Fancy lending a hand in the mess hall later?
No, I may be somewhat busy, but if I have 5 minutes, I'll swing by.
Okay, I'll see you.
Very well. And then Zankir will give Jairrod a few minutes to walk out. And then he'll come out of the ready room holding the glass of millipede juice and say, "Oh, Commander, you should really try this. It's delightful."
Why are you holding it so far away, Captain?
No reason.
Oh, well, I'll have it. Okay, so he'll actually reach out, take it, and sniff suspiciously.
Okay, as you're sniffing it, Jayrod, give me a control and science roll. Let's see what you get.
Okay. 6 and a 12. Control and science. I got one success there. Yeah, one success.
One success. Okay. Yeah, it smells pleasant.
In that case, I'll have a sip.
And it tastes very pleasant as well.
Yeah, it's excellent. If you've no objections, Captain, I take it that there's got to be a cup holder in a Defiant class captain's chair.
Yes, no, please, you feel free to finish that. Just don't ask what went into it.
Very good. Very good. No, it's excellent. Yeah, do you say that the cooks just bring the? Why am I drinking replicated tea when he's doing these? I'll have a chat with him. Sorry, Captain. The con is yours if you're taking back.
Yes. If you don't mind.
That's right. So I'll go and put this actually in the cup holder in the helm console instead.
Okay, and presumably, Captain, you're sending a signal down to Tana to give the information. Do you know what? It's been quite a while since we've had any actual involvement with the Tilical. And we've got a load of new viewers now. So I'm going to ask you to summarise what the information that Tana sends to Jayrod says.
Wow. Thanks for calling me out like that, like I remember any of this stuff.
Anybody can help here, including Alastair.
Yeah, the problem is, I don't think I was here for a lot of the actual interaction with the Tilical. I don't think I was here for those games, so I don't really remember much about them.
Okay. Well, who remembers the Atlantis logs?
I'm racing back through my own logs to find the Atlantis pages, and there's a lot
scrolling.
There's a lot of scrolling to go here. Hang on. I did put it in our group chat, didn't I? So it is in there as an enormous Word file.
Oh yes, but we're just very, very broad strokes with this.
I do remember it sort of took over Admiral Karen, didn't it?
The Admiral, yes. Yes, it fused with her, it seems. So the Tilical are a race, an ancient race that probably existed around the Shackleton Expanse. The Atlantis, back in Kirk's era, it encountered a planet with some massive technology built into the very essence of the planet itself, that I think it destroyed the planet, didn't it? Killed the planet.
It certainly had the capacity to. It's just such massive. It generates such ludicrous amounts of power.
I don't remember the
Yeah.
planet being destroyed, but that sounds about right.
And then, yes, on another planet, there was an admiral who had been getting, it seems, psychic signals from the Tilical, and ended up on a planet being fused with. It seemed like a hodgepodge of technology, but the closest you've been to seeing an actual Tilical was this sort of mechanical, electronic, sort of huge spidery type creature that the Admiral was fused with. It was quite monstrous. Other bits of Tilical technology you've encountered seems to be all around power stations and putting out electromagnetic pulses. So far.
Yeah, I've got something in the notes about being the Atlantis was damaged by some sort of beam. It blew out all the EPS conduits.
Probably the same electromagnetic thing that we've been hit by a couple times now, or similar at least.
Yeah, trionic waves apparently.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Yes. And yeah, so subsequent planets have been the electromagnetic pulse. That was trionic waves. And there's a lot of subspace distortions within the Shackleton Expanse. And people have reported hearing voices, including, of course, Davok, who commandeered the ship trying to chase one of these subspace distortions.
Actually, Admiral, I think it was the Admiral Bannistoker's son had been sent off to a Federation psychiatric unit for similar psychiatric issues while serving in the same area. So,
Yes. Yes. But now, of course, you've got a way of detecting these subspace distortions so you can avoid them, which seems to be the sensible thing to do. And I'm assuming as you plot courses and things, you're just avoiding them.
Yep.
So if you want to fly through any, just tell me.
no, absolutely not. Not even with an unconscious Davok in the medical bay.
Okay. Excellent. So that's the Tilical. That's the technology you're after. Anything else? And hopefully that brings Jairrod up to speed as well. Is there anything else you'd like to do en route?
No, not that I can think of.
Actually, it's further that it's worth noting. On one of my notes, I put that some planets with Tilical technology on it had no microbial life, had a poisonous chlorine-based atmosphere, but still had the technology on the planet. So either the Tilical have got ways of bypassing that, or simply not affected by atmospheres like that.
Indeed, that's
truly alien
possibility. There's a number of possibilities. Okay. Well, after an extended period of time, we'll cut forward as you drop out of warp close to Sigma 367 system. And indeed, there are 4 planets. The first 2 are far too hot to support life there. Y-class planets, the pair of them, demon-class planets. The other 2, the third one and the fourth one, are M-class planets. What would you like to do?
I think we should scan for any energy readings from the planets, maybe starting with the M class and then moving out to the others if we don't catch anything there.
Okay, is this a general sort of sensor sweep?
Yeah, just see what readings we can get at a passing glance.
Okay. Normally this would be your science officer. However, we have no science officer, so who's going to do this?
Not Zankir. I'll say that. Tana's not dreadful at it. Because this is science-based, right?
This is definitely science, reason and science.
Yeah, Tana's not dreadful.
Assisted by the ship's sensors and science.
Yeah, we can have Tana do it unless we've got any...
one of Davok's assistants has got reason and science 10 and 4 together.
That's better than Tana. So let's just have an ensign do it. Whoever's manning the science station in Davok's absence.
Excellent. Yeah, that's reason and science assisted by sensors and science. And sensors and science, I can tell you, is 11. So why don't we have Alastair roll for the ship this time?
Okay, so I do for our specialist first class Wilson, who's got focuses in spatial anomalies, Federation computer systems (bracket homework) and alien culture (brackets snacks).
Did somebody say snacks?
Yes. And she scored a 13 and a 9, so 2 successes.
No help from the computer.
No help from the computer, you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a 19.
Ooh. Playing with fire there. With 2 successes, I can give you quite a bit of information. So the third planet is a much smaller planet than the fourth one. There is an asteroid belt between the two of them. But as well as the asteroid belt, there is also a large amount of debris between the two. Artificial debris. Seems to be defunct satellites, small to middle-sized space stations, kind of general space detritus. All seems to be non-functional, and with both your successes, I can also tell you a lot of it seems to have been quite battered. Now, it's floating in the middle of an asteroid belt, so you can make your own deductions as you wish from there.
So it's a large debris field within an asteroid belt, is what was...
Yes.
Okay.
Well, seems to be sort of directly between the two planets, yes. Other bit of information I'll give you. There appears to be 2 forms of technology or 2 styles of technology, we'll say. It seems to be kind of evenly advanced. Probably not so different from what the Federation was maybe 100 years ago.
Commander, take us a little closer. Let's do a deeper scan of these, see if we can get any more information.
Okay, I'll set course for the asteroid belt, remaining under cloak, and we'll approach closer to get better scans.
Okay, are you actually going into the asteroid belt?
I would say no. Let's get as close as we can so we can actually do like a targeted scan of what exactly is in there, unless we've got all the information we can.
So I'll hold position at the edge, if that's okay, sir.
You certainly can do that, and it's not going to give you any additional information just by sitting there scanning.
Okay.
Would you like me to take this ship in for a closer visual inspection of anything? So I think I can maneuver through some asteroids.
If anyone can do it, you can, Commander. By all means. Everyone, let's look out of some windows, shall we? See what we can see.
Wraal breaks glass in the box marked with a Biggles hat in it.
And his big scarf.
Is it like in Generations where an actual joystick pops out of the console?
Yeah, I think Wraal has definitely either requested or has refitted with. There's definitely like a yoke as well for when he really needs to get hands on.
Fantastic. Okay, we are going in for charting a hazard. So, I'll have reason and con, assisted by sensors and con. Difficulty 3.
Okay.
Take a momentum for it.
Well, actually, I can use my bold con skill, so I can gain an extra dice and give Stu a threat for it, but I get to re-roll it.
Oh, yes, please.
So you are meager momentum resources.
You've got 3. You're doing well with your momentum.
Right, that's easy. Reason and con is my daring and control is better than my reason. So now about 13s we need. And I need to reroll that one. I get an 11, a 5, and a 2, which is helm operations, astronavigation. Do we get a focus? Do we get the focus score for that?
Yes. Yes, I don't see any reason why not. And what's the ship get? Who's rolling for the ship?
What is the role for the ship? Is it
sensors and con is
sensors and con.
12.
So 12? Yeah. That's a 15.
Okay, no help from the ship. She seems to be a bit sluggish whilst cloaked.
That's right. Wraal scored 4 successes.
4 successes, so you succeed and you've gained a momentum. You're up to 4 momentum now.
Put on dashboard.
Yeah, as Wraal deftly wends and weaves through the asteroid field.
Now I'm just dodging stuff, so everyone else look out the window.
Yep.
I
mean, what's the objective with going into the asteroid field? Out of interest,
well, I'm just going to get in closer to actual. Are there any like larger items of debris or bits of wreckage that we can have a good closer look at? See if there's any.
Really, some
recognizable.
Some more identifiable information about what this technology is. Whether it's, I know you said age range Federation about 100 years ago, but is it Federation tech? Is it Romulan? Is it something that we don't know? Is it?
If this is not just a scrapyard, or if this is, are we looking at the debris from some sort of a battle or an encounter? If it's in this area and there's 2 specifically different but similar levels of technology there.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the 2. I'll call it styles rather than levels of technology. They seem to be pretty equal in terms of how advanced they are, but in just the same way that the Klingons have their style and Romulans have their style, there are 2 distinct styles there. You do come quite close to a particularly largish space station. It's had a massive tear in its side, so it's completely breached to space. But that does give you the opportunity to look in and see doors, seats, consoles, things of that nature. And you get the impression that these are humanoids that operated it. Looks like it would be humanoids. The seats look slightly unusual, but as a bipedal species, you'd have no problem sitting in them.
And we didn't get any readings off of the planets, did we? No energy readings, nothing?
You did not.
Yeah, can we see if any yeah if anything is giving? Now, obviously we've got wreckage here, but we're getting energy readings off anything.
You are not.
Okay,
It all seems to be defunct. What you are not seeing, because this was a particular question you said you wanted to look for, you're not seeing any signs of any energy weapons. Any damage you see appears to be basically blunt impact.
Impact, yeah.
Okay. From my helm officer experience, is anything moving like it's drifting as if it's, bumped into each other or collided and so on, or is it all very much like in place, as in wherever it stopped is where it stopped? If that makes sense.
Eelin can give me an insight and con roll. Difficulty 3.
Okay, I'll throw momentum at that then.
Okay.
If I may. Just to not push the threat too high. Insight and con 12s. Yeah. Oh no, 3 fails. 15, 16, and 16.
It's debris in an asteroid field.
Okay.
It's not static. It's moving. It's
everything's moving in space.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll report that observation to the captain as well. This is it's all moving, but I can't confirm whether it's moving as a result of impacts with each other or if everything collided. It's just drifting debris, Captain.
Is there? I know you said it's all like dead in the water, Stu, but would there be reason to believe that we would be able to like power them up if we went over and like turned something on? Would the systems actually function, or are we showing them as completely dead? Or do we even know that from here?
You're getting 0 power readings now. Whether you can use the technology on the Livingstone to put power into any devices out there, it's alien tech. So,
yeah,
you'd have to try it to find out.
Well, we need information. No readings from the planets, so this is currently our best source of intel.
With respect, so we in the past, or according to the log and data entries, telecal technology can exist on any planet. So it doesn't necessarily mean there isn't something on the planet. I mean, I would recommend caution when approaching. Other ships' logs seem to indicate massive energy waves and surges that seem to be designed to stop ships approaching planets with their technology on. Forewarned is forearmed.
Yes. Can we do a more extensive sensor sweep of the planets and see if we can find anything of note on them? Or did we get all the information that we're going to?
No, you can concentrate on. Do you want to do a sensor sweep of the 3rd planet, the 4th planet, or both of them one at a time?
Both. So I want to do, let's go down the list. Let's start with 4, and then if we don't get anything off 4, we'll go to 3, and so on and so on.
The larger planet it is. Give me a reason and science roll. Whoever's doing this again. Assisted by sensors and science, difficulty 2.
I'll chuck some dice in for young Wilson. Reason and
11,
science,
by the way. Yeah,
Alastair, do you want to roll
Yeah.
shit?
Computer gets 20.
Wilson, I think, is
a 1 or 20. What does the delta mean again? Is it a 1 or a 20?
It's a 1.
It's a
Critical
1.
success.
Oh, excellent. Computer gets a 1.
Hey,
And Grace has scored a 15, which is no help, and a 6, which is.
Okay, so with the difficulty 2, you get a momentum back.
whoa.
Yes, on the larger planet, you can see that there is definitely evidence of a civilization. It seems to be a much older civilization. You're reading cities. Again, technological state about the level of the Federation 100 years ago. Most of the cities appear to have been demolished. You're also reading large crater impacts. Looks like the whole planet has been bombarded. Certainly the large population centres have been bombarded from space. With both successes as
No
well,
energy
I can
readings.
tell you there was a large dust cloud that has settled on the planet. So this probably happened, it's fair to say, a few hundred years ago. You are reading 0 energy or life signs.
Let's do the same thing on Planet the Third.
Okay, on Planet the Third, we'll have the same, please. We'll have reason and science assisted by sensors and science. Difficulty 2.
Alastair, you want to roll for the ship again?
Yeah. Ship gets a 19.
Ooh.
No help from the ship this time.
Only 1 from young Miss Wilson.
Okay. It's really hard to tell. One thing you have noticed is the planet seems to have befallen a similar fate to the larger planet, in that there is again this thick layer of dust on everything. It's hard to tell any technological levels without actually seeing it in person, though. And again, you're not getting any energy or life signs from the planet. It would seem that similar catastrophes befell both planets.
I suspect, Captain, either both sides have wiped each other out, or someone's come in and dished it out to both parties equally.
That's what I'm thinking. The debris that we're seeing around us in the asteroid field, can we see any weapon systems on these space stations or anything? I know we're just using like visual cues at this point. Are there any like gun banks or anything like that?
I'll let every player can give me just a straight insight roll. So 2 dice. If it beats your insight, however many beats your insight, let me know.
Okay. Oh, nope.
0.
1 for Zankir, none for Tanner.
Okay. So Zankir is the only one who spotted properly through thinking about it. Sorry, what was the question again?
If there are any weaponry that we can see visible on the space stations or any of the debris that we're seeing floating around here.
Any weaponry? No. There are no signs of any torpedo launchers, bombs, energy weapons. There's no sign of any projectile weapons. Nothing of that nature.
Interesting.
My thoughts, Captain, might be, is it, or would it be worth acquiring, if we can find them, 2 examples of 2 differing styles of technology maybe beaming them into a cargo bay under a quarantine field. And then if we investigate the planets one at a time, match the pieces to the planets and see if our suspicion is correct that you've got a system here with two civilizations, both of whom have befallen some sort of catastrophe, and then we can maybe figure out whether it was a catastrophe of their own making or someone from the outside destroying them both.
Yes, it's not a bad idea. I definitely think closer inspection of this debris is our best course of action at the moment. Yes, let's see if we can find room and some pieces small enough to investigate.
From my model ship collection, I'm remembering Promelians and Menthars, to be honest, so it seems very similar. So I don't bother putting any of them in bottles.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's prep. Zankir will send a message to engineering to have a team ready to investigate some materials, and we'll see if there's anything that we can find to beam on board.
Okay, so you're going to beam examples of both technologies into the cargo bay, presumably. That sounds like a plan to me. Let's look at that as soon as we've had a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. That's an order. And we are back with Star Trek Livingstone on Twitch tonight because YouTube has dropped off for whatever reason. But I will be uploading this to YouTube after the event, so it will get out there. So yeah, well, yes, a couple of people in the chat possibly familiar with this particular adventure path, or brief rather as it is for Star Trek Adventures, and yes, we're all looking forward to what's coming. How are the players feeling about
no
this?
No spoilers,
though?
please.
No spoilers.
A real thinker. It's a real thinker. I'm just trying to have all kinds of ideas as to what might have happened here, so I'm looking forward to breaking into it, seeing if they're correct. Personally, I think Ed is correct, and that was my assumption as well, that it's basically we're looking at two civilizations that wiped each other out for some reason.
I know, I've got a sneaky suspicion it's almost big bully in the playground. Maybe two civilizations were tallying each other up, and someone else popped in and basically just knocked them both down. Just to make the point.
That's possible.
And I mean, nothing actively bad has happened to the ship or crew yet, so that's always a winner, isn't it?
We haven't been like EMP'd out of the sky yet, so that's pretty good.
It's not a high bar, but we crossed it.
Yay, we did a journey and survived.
Yeah.
So far, all shuttles remain intact, so this is a good mission.
Oh, dear me. So far, theory-wise, we've got they destroyed each other or someone else destroyed them. Is nobody going to come up with the theory that this might have been a natural disaster?
It's possible. But it's still, see, the thing that's in my mind this entire time is we're sent here to look for Tilakal technology. So none of these planets have any kind of energy readings on. So Tilakal technology exists here somewhere, probably. So where is it? And that's what's leading me in the direction of, two civilizations that destroyed each other, or a secret third civilization that came in and did it to them.
Interesting. Well, we shall see what we come up with, because you've got a plan, haven't you? You're going to get some of this technology on board and have an up close and personal look at it. Okay, now there is one thing you have to do before transporting anything on board. Does anybody want to hazard a guess what that might be?
Drop the cloak.
Drop the cloak. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're in the middle of a debris field, so...
I recommend before we do, is there any way we can send out a scan for anything specifically tacky on here and just see if anyone else might be out here under cloak who's also watching?
Good idea.
Ooh. So, this would be a sensor sweep. We're going to do one of these sensor sweeps where you just tell me how many successes you get, and I tell you what I can from that. So let's have reason and science from the science station, assisted by sensors and science again, which is 11 target.
I'll roll for the
ship. Lots of scanning
in
in this episode.
Lots of get that scanning up. Scanning
I've got a 2.
Everyone's paranoid. I can't think why.
Yeah.
We've got a 10 and a Starfleet symbol.
Oh, so it's 4 successes then, because the ship got a 2.
Okay, so 4 successes. You detect no tachyons whatsoever.
Yeah.
No energy displacement that you might get. from a cloaking device, from a obviously known cloaking device. You can only scan for the things you know to scan for, but there is no sign of any form of cloaking whatsoever that you can detect.
Okay, my other thought maybe within that would have been to also scan for impulse wake. So basically anything that of known technologies that we know from our other factions in the region, anything floating about that might be ion trails from any other faction of ships that we might already know about.
With 4 successes, I can tell you there are no signs of any impulse, ion wakes. There is no sign of spatial disturbance of any kind other than what appears to come from the movement on the asteroid belt and your own movements in it.
Okay, I'll turn around from my station and say, in the old parlance, Captain, scope's clear, nothing on the surface.
Well, I think we've made about as sure as we can that there's no one else around, so let's go ahead and drop that cloak. But we should probably go to yellow alert just in case. Let's make sure we're on the lookout for anyone that may appear.
Changes many light bulbs.
Yes.
Yellow alert traditionally would involve raising of shields now, again.
Well, I don't know the regulations. I'm flying blind here, Stu.
So, yellow alert and red alert, this is quite an interesting one. I was fine. Yellow alert is basically raise shields but don't arm weapons. Red alert is switch everything on.
Okay. Well, let's make it more of a let's make it more of a philosophical yellow alert. So let's just remain on alert in our own minds and bodies. Yeah.
I mean, it's all variable anyway. You can say yellow alert, but keep the shields down, and everyone will be at their tactical stations ready.
Yeah. Let's just keep everyone at the ready.
Yeah, on their toes. Fantastic. And you do so, and you decloak, and the Livingstone shimmers and comes into view from the outside. And nothing happens.
Well, paranoid as we are, we absolutely checked around to make sure nothing was sat watching for us.
Give it a minute. Hold. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Well, very sensible. We went to periscope depth before servicing the boat.
So you're going to beam 2 pieces of technology, the one of each style, into the cargo bay. Let's see how lucky you are as to what kind of technology you get. Alastair, roll me a d20.
It's a 16.
16. Ed, roll me a d20.
Starfleet symbol.
Okay. So, again, lower the better. So you have 2 pieces of technology in the cargo bay. Both pieces are
engineering begin.
Battered.
Engineering begin investigating as soon as you've swept them for any dangers. And we'll keep it under quarantine lockdown as best we can, just in case.
Okay. I mean, in beaming aboard, that scans for any, microbes, pathogens, anything.
Okay.
Of that nature anyway, gets screened. Any known, of course. Unknown is a different matter, but generally speaking, transporting makes stuff safe. Okay, let's have the for the first bit of equipment beamed aboard, for which Alastair rolled a 16. Let's have... how much time is Tana taking over this?
Since we're not in any particular rush, I'd say she can just take as long as she needs to get an adequate idea of what these are.
Okay. Then Tana can give me either control or reason, at your choice, and engineering roll.
Roll it is.
This one is going to be difficulty 4.
Okay.
You have a decent stack of momentum there, Chris.
I am going to use momentum. Yes, I am going to do that. Check and see if I've got anything else with Tana that I could use, but I don't think I do. Oh no. Tana's not doing too good today. That is 3 fails, one of which is a natural 20.
Oh, good lord.
Ooh. I'll have me a lovely, lovely threat for that.
Yeah, it's been a rough day for Tana. Oh, actually, is it a fail? Hold on, let me
Piece
see.
of hull plating
was...
just falling on a foot.
Wait, hang on. Control and engineering, all right?
Either control or reason and engineering, yes.
The number I needed was 15. I rolled 2 16s and a 20.
Do you have anything that any traits training that you could use there, Chris?
Oh, I can re-roll the momentum one. Let me... I can re-roll a single d20 because I bought one with momentum.
Mm-hmm. Gives you a cautious engineer.
So let's get rid of that 20. let's re-roll that 20.
I've taken the threat back out again.
And it's a 10, which is a success.
So a success. It's hard to tell what this particular equipment is, but Jayrod might be interested. It appears to be something to do with the preparation of food.
Oh, we've beamed aboard a kitchen.
Interesting.
Certainly a kitchen utensil.
It's a cutting board, isn't it?
Let's have a look at the other bit of kit with a natural 1. This is going to be, again, either reason or control and engineering. Difficulty 1.
All right. Same story. I'm going to go ahead and buy a momentum or use a momentum. Just we got it, so might as well use it.
Yes, use up that momentum.
And I got 2 successes.
Oh,
and I can re-roll one. So let me re-roll this one that failed. And that is a natural 1. So I got 4 successes.
Okay. So you get yourself, lovely bit of momentum back. And appears to have transported a computer core. Which contains a library of information.
Oh, jackpot. Well done, Tana.
You can easily plug it into Livingstone's computers to read it, and that will incorporate the translation matrix. It'll take a bit of time, but you can gain access to this computer core.
With that in mind,
is there a way we can run it through a firewall first, just in case there's anything in here that could? Because we've run into things that take control of ships before.
Absolutely. In fact, you can use a portable computer that is not connected to anything else wirelessly or otherwise to do exactly that. So you can be
I'll have Tana bust out the old Spectrum ZX and
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Plug it into
It can
that.
be basically electronically quarantined.
Yeah,
No
we'll do that.
problem. Whilst that's happening, in fact, as soon as the beaming has taken place, is Livingstone recloaking or?
Oh, captain's discretion, right?
Yes, I would say yes. Let's remain cloaked as much as we possibly can while we're out here.
Okay. Just wanted to check with that. And because this is taking quite a bit of time and you are sat inside an asteroid field that is moving, let's have another reason and con assisted by sensors and con, difficulty 3. Sensors and con, by the way, is 12.
Wild.
Okay, I was
We
going to
can.
suggest, Captain, we don't go charging off to any of these interesting planets just yet, but maybe if I move the ship out of the asteroid field, just to stop us bumping anything.
Yes.
Reason gone. And I've got a 2 and an 8. So 2 successes. Actually, 3 with helm operations.
3 successes. Anything from the ship?
Alastair, you want to roll that?
Oh, yeah, sure. 9 from the ship.
9 from the ship, so you get a momentum back.
Momentum.
Excellent. And yes, you maneuver yourself out of the asteroid field, out of the way of all the moving debris. Yeah, but not too far away. So, yeah, just out of harm's way. Okay, all this is taking a little while, but after, let's say after a few hours have passed, you have access to this library of information and you discover quite a bit. Pertinent information here is that this technology has come from the larger of the 2 planets, so the 4th planet in the system. Race called the US. US. Us.
The Oz.
The US. Aye. Us, not them.
Us.
Yes, and the US, it seems that their technological standard, up until the point that this equipment became defunct, it had very, very rapidly advanced from effectively a medieval standard of life to, like I say, Federation 100 years ago, over the course of about 100 years. It was brought about...
That's a culture shock.
Brought about by a race from the 3rd planet called the Wraal, who basically came over and accelerated the US overnight. The US, however, absolutely hated, feared, reviled the Wraal. It's really hard to tell why. It seems to be very instinctive on their part. It's possible that they were just an extremely xenophobic race. And this led to a war between the 2 planets. We'll give you one other piece of pertinent information. Neither of these 2 pieces of technology resemble Tilical technology.
Does it mention anywhere what happened to these peoples?
No, it would appear that this particular device was made defunct before that happened. It talks about the 2 planets being at war.
Well, ow. Interesting. I think it's pertinent that we get more information on this. I'm very puzzled by the fact that there is no mention of the Tilakal anywhere or anything resembling it.
It might also be perhaps worthwhile confirming the relationship between these items we've got and the planets in question, just to rule out there's any Tilakal contamination. And certainly at the point at which this was logged, there was no evidence, or there doesn't seem to be evidence of any Tilakal involvement. But I don't think we can say for certain that they haven't perhaps been involved with it after. We know that they've been active in the Shackleton Expanse over several hundred years. I think we need to make sure that they're not still active or active subsequently. If you know what I mean.
Well, Tana would be able to tell us if this technology was influenced by Tilakal, because she has a focus in Tilakal technology. So would she have caught any?
She does, and that's
any
why
hints
I can
of
tell
that
you
on this?
there is no relation.
Okay. So it says that the larger planet was effectively sped up by the denizens of the third planet technologically. But does it mention how the denizens of the third planet became as advanced as they are, and whether they followed the same progression?
No. It just talks
They
about them
had no
arriving.
comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had no comparable prime directive or any cultural or any moral objections to contaminating other civilizations. Mind you, they may have simply found it remarkable and convenient that another sentient species was in the same system.
Yes, I have a suspicion that if we're going to find any Tilakal technology or interference, then it will probably be coming from the third planet, since we don't have any. We couldn't scan for any information there. This certainly seems to hint at the fact that they were the predominant species in this system.
Just to confirm from the computer core, was it the us who seemed to be the xenophobic of the two species, or yes, yeah. So they would have had, they may have had no interest in seeking out new life and new civilizations, whereas the Rilello may well have done.
Yes. Well, from what it seems, the us had no technology even capable of it until the Rilello showed up and gave them the technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think of the two. I think of the two, it may be worth investigating the third planet first, and then seeing how that compares on the full planet. I think we definitely need to investigate, to compare and contrast the two, because if you see the planet with what we presume is the older levels of technology, if they were the ones who expanded out, and see how that's been applied to the other, if there's anything left on the planet to investigate or to take any details from.
Agreed. That was my thinking too.
They might be matching each other in devastated nuclear wasteland.
Yes, let's see if we can get a whole set, shall we? Very well. Let's plan to do that then. Take us in a little closer to. Do we know planet names, Stu? Do they have names that they're given? So we can stop saying third planet, fourth planet.
That's one thing you've not been able to get, but it is very difficult to translate proper names. To be fair.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, it's more. It's just
very well.
Talks about the us and the Rilello.
All right, we'll set course for Sigma 367-3.
Yes. And
it doesn't have moons because that'd be -3A. It goes numbers, then letters for the moons, isn't it?
And also, if you will, let's assembly an away team for when we get there, if you will, number one.
I have,
No.
I have just the lad in mind.
Yes, I recommend taking Tana with you at the very least, and you know what, take Jairrod along as well. I'm interested to see what he can do outside of the kitchen.
That would seem to be. I quite agree. Please bring some of that millipede juice as well. It's splendid.
Oh, he told you what was in that, did he?
No, I've had it before, I'm sure.
Just never fresh.
Yeah, it was much better.
Okay, so you're putting yourself in orbit of the third planet, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to require any rolls for that at all, because that's a really straightforward and easy thing to do. And yes, and you're going to decloak and send down your away team. So who's on the away team? First of all, let's have a full list.
Don't think you're leaving there, Captain. So technically speaking, as we're not a Federation Starfleet vessel, I can't stop you from leading an away team yourself. You could go all. Oh, who was that old captain who used to be the really heroic one from one of the logs? Swoopy hair. Webb, that was the one.
No, I think my place is better served here. You have a lot more experience on the ground than I do. So I'll keep the ship running should anything happen.
Excellent. Right, yes, as I say, we'll take Jairrod, and I think I'll want Reggie at my side and Tana with me. I think that will work well.
Okay.
Someone with an engineering mindset, especially with her Tilical nose, will be good.
Yes. And from I know unfortunately we didn't get a good scan of this planet, but can we beam onto this planet, or do we have to shuttle down? Do we
don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to beam.
Okay. I think that might be safer really than trying to shuttle down, given what happened the last time.
Yes, we're running.
Yeah, right.
Well, we don't have. Actually, no, we do have access to shuttles now. We can just go back to West Station and presumably get more. But at the same time, I'd really rather not keep burning through the number of shuttles we've got, because we're doing quite well on those already.
Yeah. There's only so many British astronauts that we can
exactly yeah.
we can mine for names.
Yeah, and it's M class, so you don't need any breathing equipment or suits or anything like that. Anything you would like to take with you, however, that you want to spend momentum on?
I'm bringing Altarian sandwiches for everyone.
Oh, fabulous.
That doesn't need a momentum. Lunch is provided.
Yeah, there's no momentum needed for a packed lunch and a picnic.
Do we have little regulation Starfleet lunchboxes?
It's like
the
a separate thermos that fits inside it and everything.
It's got a picture of Scott on the front.
A note from Jairrod saying basically, I'll when it comes back, he'll be checking to see what you've left behind, what you've not had.
So Altarian sandwiches, do they have the crust cut off them?
Oh yeah, what shape? Do we get to pick? Can I have squares, please?
It looks like they don't have crusts. I'm looking at a picture of one just now.
Ah, cool.
Looked pretty good though.
And how many Altarians does it take to make an Altarian sandwich?
Oh, it also looks like so they are from Altarian, but I believe they're actually possibly just called an Altair sandwich. Okay. That's my okay. Miles O'Brien once ate an Altair sandwich with no mustard.
Good to know. Excellent. Okay.
Do you have a choice of sauces?
You can have mustard if you like.
The barbecue sauce, please, for preference.
Okay. Barbecue sauce Altair sandwich.
On a sandwich, bold choice.
And squares, because obviously cut into triangles just ruins the flavour.
As someone who always has sandwiches cut diagonally, I don't know how we can be friends.
Yeah, that was basically heresy. What you just uttered.
Okay, and where on the planet would you like to beam down? There are a number of settlements, number of cities. They're all covered in a thick layer of dust, as I say, but there is one much larger city. Seems to be a sort of central...
Yeah, I'd say anywhere that looks like a good central hub or cultural point.
Yeah, capital city, if possible, something that looks like the larger cities would be an idea, or larger settlements.
Anywhere we might get the most information from.
One city that is bigger than all the rest, and it has one central building that is bigger than all the rest.
That's a pretty good target.
Okay, are you aiming to beam inside the building or outside the building?
I'd like to beam down outside it, and then we can judge it and enter as we need to. Especially if this is basically a war zone. I don't want to be beaming into any buildings that could be potentially unstable.
Well, we got no life signs off of the planet, right? When we scanned.
No life signs, no energy signs.
Okay, so yeah, I guess looking for structural damage might be a good idea, but as far as like enemies, we should be okay.
Okay. Sandwiches, as I say, don't cost any momentum. You do have a bit of momentum though, so if you did want to take anything else with you, phaser rifles instead of normal phasers, or pattern enhancers, or
I think I will just take some pattern enhancers, but essentially we're investigating, not rescuing or piling into anything. So Reggie, just your hand phaser and your ever-present Ushan Tor will do fine.
Okay, one set of pattern enhancers for one momentum.
Yeah.
Okay. And you head on down to the transporter room. And presumably you're decloaking again, because you've got to decloak.
Yep. Yeah.
The transporter beam engages, and the away team find themselves materializing in a dusty, grey... Presumably it was a city once, but it's been incredibly... Look, it's basically been levelled, apart from this huge building before you. I mean, it's had its damage. It is very severely damaged, but you are on the steps towards a massive structure. Looks like you can tell straight away it would have been incredibly imposing back in its day. But the whole place is covered as well with it's like meteorites, huge lumps of rock everywhere.
Okay, well, on landing, I'll immediately do a tricorder scan to see if there's any residual radiation, if there's been some sort of orbital bombardment, to see if we can judge what sort of weapon, if we know what it could be, has been used on to cause this level of devastation.
Okay, you're getting background radiation, nothing harmful.
Okay.
It just looks like the whole place has been hit by a massive meteor storm.
Stu, can I make a spend under my quick survey ability to use the momentum on the obtain information category? The answer can only provide information that you could obtain with your own senses and can't use equipment because it's meant to take place in a short time. But basically spending this to see if there's any telltale signs, footprints in the dust, things that look like they've been used or moved recently, to try and get a read on whether there's any activity that's happened much more recently than the scene would suggest.
An excellent use of a momentum there. And I can tell you, absolutely not. This place has been completely undisturbed for, it could be hundreds of years. Certainly since the dust fell, nothing. There is a wind whipping up across the, well, presumably it was a road at some point. That's behind you, that is blowing the top layer of dust, but absolutely nothing. No sign of anything having moved in a very long time.
Okay. Well, I'll immediately walk to the ship, Wraal to Livingstone. Are we looking through?
Go ahead, Commander.
Captain was taking a drink.
Sorry, I was just taking a sip. That millipede juice, it spoke to me after a while.
Well, you did say to leave it a little while, let it really ferment. I mean, mature. Landed
in some cultures, those words are the same thing.
Oh, God. It's delicious, but he doesn't sell it. We away team has landed safely. We seem to have no background nothing more than background radiation. First glance, doesn't seem that anyone else has been here since whatever catastrophe befell this civilization befell it. We're not getting any signs of any disturbance. Also, don't seem to have any particular signs of how this actually happened, aside from being devastated from orbit. So I think we need to we could be investigating either dual natural disaster, or potentially, if it was caused by a natural disaster, or an inflicted natural disaster, which might be worth keeping in the back of the mind. But the large building we aim for is here. We're going to move in and have a look closer.
Very well. Proceed with caution, number one. We'll keep track of you as best we can from up here. Just let us know if you need an emergency pullout.
Okay, we'll put the pattern enhancers by the entrance to the building as a get out point. Hopefully those should be put. How's the transporter room doing for a lock on us? Is there anything disturbing it, or we got down fairly smoothly?
Transporter room is maintaining a lock, no problem.
Yeah, we've got you, number one. From right now, anyway, but there's no telling what might happen once you go inside or
of course.
move 5 feet to the left. You know how these things go. Who knows?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But once you put on the helmet of justice, the only way is forward. There's no going back.
The paranoia.
We'll continue on then, Livingston. Wraal and away team out. And with that, we'll take some pictorial scans of the evidence as we're going. Standard. I'm sure people will want to keep that in the logs, and we'll gesture the away team to find the nearest big imposing door and head for it.
Well, indeed, at the top of the short flight of stairs up before you, on the side of the building, there is a large, it's about 8 foot tall, and maybe twice as wide again. Looks like a large, very ornate double door in front of you. It's closed.
If only we had a character who was really, really good at opening doors. Still in the cooler. Okay, I'll try the handle.
There is indeed a form of handle. It's sort of a it's sort of a loop that you would grasp.
Big old like a sort of
manipulate it somehow to open it, and yes, you sort of jiggle it about, and there is a little bit of movement upwards, but this door appears to be locked.
Hmm.
Is there any kind of control panel attached to it that we can see? Or is it manually locked?
Not attached to the handle itself, but just to the side there looks to be some kind of panel in the door frame.
Oh. Tyler, can you have a look at that? Could that be? Is that the actuator for the door? Like the handle's not.
Oh, I'll have a look, Commander. Yeah, she'll go over and start messing with it as best she can to figure out what it is.
Okay. Essentially, it needs power. By the look of it. These are big doors, and they need to be powered.
Is there anything do we have anything that we can use to provide power?
We've got tricorders and
comm badgers, phasers.
Well, yeah, is that going to fry that equipment though, or can we use it as like a little portable?
Depends how well you roll.
Oh, fun. Okay. Tana does have a focus in power systems, so this should go pretty good.
Yeah. So what device is Tana cannibalizing?
I mean, we've got some transport pattern enhancers as well, which would be best.
Do we want to get rid of the pattern enhancers though?
Probably only go about yeah. Let's just see if you can basically jumpstart it with a tricorder.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. She'll use her tricorder on it.
Okay, so you start getting the power source of the tricorder exposed and start wiring it into this panel, and that's where we're going to leave it for this evening.
Oh, Sorry, you got 3 weeks to find out what's behind the door.
Oh, dear me. Yes, 3 weeks indeed. So we'll be back, in 3 weeks' time when we will find out what's on the other side of this door. Maybe, depending on how well that goes. In the meantime, you've got myself and Alastair, and we're going to be at Birmingham at Destination Trek over the weekend. I'm going to try and take some video footage to upload to the channel, so keep an eye open for that. And yeah, in the meantime, until next time, don't forget, you don't stop playing because you grow old. Anyone?
You grow old trying to get the door open.
Absolutely. Live long and prosper, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye all.